Harry's wife. Netflix, revision of history. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. As you know, the Netflix docuseries appears very soon, and the trailer has already made its presence felt, which I have discussed in a separate video. One section of that video was demonstrative of the victim mentality of Harry and Harry's wife by showing a shot which showed lots and lots of cameras all being pointed in one direction to suggest that they were being hounded by the press, that they were being persecuted by the media. It's a dramatic shot of a bank of telephoto lenses on the cameras with assembled members of the media, press pack, paparazzi, whatever you'd like to call them, and was a clear shot from the trailer and was determined to convey that image of all of these people being against them, hounding them, persecuting them. Of course, it's a pity play, and it's being done by Harry's wife to elicit sympathy from people for the purposes of asserting control over them by demonstrating that they are under control, by showing that sympathy for her, and of course the extraction of fuel. Unsurprisingly, however, all is not as it first seems when it comes to Harry's wife. And LBC reports photo of Harry and Harry's wife hounded by press in Netflix trailer actually taken at film premiere years before the couple met. Ah, yes. Once again, the revision of history. Now, what do we learn from this? What are we told about it? Well, the article by LBC explains, written by Will Taylor, an image used to show Harry and Harry's wife being hounded by the press in a trailer for their upcoming Netflix show is actually an unrelated snap from a Harry Potter premiere. A still from the preview shows banks of photographers apparently vying for a snap of the couple. But it was actually taken at the premiere for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 in July 2011, 5 years before the couple actually met. The image comes up before Harry says during the trailer, "I had to do everything I could to protect my family." The photo is the first result when searching paparazzi in image website Alamy. I don't imagine Harry would have realised, but Netflix have been careless here, as it weakens Harry's comment about protecting his family, said royal expert Ingrid Seward. The fake picture weakens his point. Netflix, which did not comment on the photo, has described the 6-part documentary as a global event. Royals will be braced for any claims made in the documentary, although it is understood the palace is not planning to engage with any of them. The 6-part series, Harry and Harry's Wife, is expected to come out on the streaming service this week. During the trailer, Harry says, "No one sees what's happening behind closed doors." Well, interestingly, of course, Harry, we all know about the behaviour of a narcissist and how indeed such behaviours go on behind closed doors, but we know that you're not necessarily talking about that as you find yourself a victim of the abuse from a narcissist during your own sustained devaluation. As he says that, images of Harry's wife being upset, pity plays, and the couple sat behind William and Kate are shown. "I had to do everything I could to protect my family," he added. "When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?" Harry's wife asks. Something, of course, which I've commented upon separately. Now, it's highly unlikely that Harry's wife sanctioned the use of this photo in the trailer. Although, of course, she meddles in many processes where she has no expertise, and she does so because of her paranoia and her need to assert control, I very much doubt that she was actually responsible for the compilation of this trailer and the use of a photo that was nothing to do with them. However, the point is, it's associated with them. And a little bit of detective work, which clearly didn't take much effort at all, as the article explains that the search for paparazzi at Alamy brings up that photograph straight away. And I suspect somebody probably recognised the photograph when they saw the trailer and thought, hang on a second, that's not got anything to do with Harry and Harry's wife. That's from something else. I remember that. That was around the time of the Harry Potter premiere. And thus, they are caught out. And as I've explained in parts passing, the problem Harry's wife has is that because she's widely disliked these days because of her own conduct and behaviour, there's an army of fact-checkers out there waiting to ascertain what porky pies she's coming out with this week and then to expose them, dismantle them and analyse them. And once again, this has happened. The problem that she has, of course, is that not that many people will necessarily think to themselves, well, this is Netflix that's done this and it isn't Harry's wife. She will be guilty by association. And that's because people will not give her any leeway any longer. They did it at first. They gave her the benefit of the doubt even when certain things were behaving, or rather certain ways she behaved, started to cause people to question her. But the course of conduct that she has engaged in, commensurate with her status as a mid-range narcissist, has meant that the goodwill and trust that she might have received from many people has been repeatedly eroded to the extent now nobody, apart from a rump of core supporters, believe anything that comes out of her mouth. And even where something like this, which is a revision of history, because it's using somebody else's event to convey that they were being persecuted and hounded by the press to this extent, is demonstrated as not theirs. And people will go, well, this doesn't surprise me. She lies repeatedly. She revises history. She changes things. She creates her own narrative. She creates her truth. And this is just further grist to the mill, a further example of the way that she behaves in that regard. It isn't a surprise. Nobody's surprised that this would occur. And they forget the fact that it's probably somebody at Netflix that has done this and not Harry's wife. People aren't interested in that. They just chalk it up to yet another porky pie that has come out from the House of Sussex. And that is the problem with the collateral consequences for a mid-range narcissist. Because they lie so often, and their lies become exposed over time, even when there's something that isn't actually their fault, people do ascribe that fault to the narcissist. Many people will say, well, you reap what you sow, and if you go around telling all of those lies, tough titty, when it turns out that it's not your fault, but people blame you anyway, you probably got away with many things previously where you were not blamed, so in a way, it's caught up with you, and you have to deal with it. Nevertheless, it just shows that once again something that comes out of the House of Sussex is far from genuine, and it's a revision of history, but also shows the collateral consequences that the mid-range narcissist has to endure as a consequence of their own behaviour. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.